As I'm busy with the food preservation series, we're going to be using glass jars for the last part of our dehydration series and also for our canning and even other parts of the food preservation series. So I'm just going to show you all my jars and what I use them for. These are all from the Consol shop and they are produced by Ardagh Glass Packaging. Now, Consol was taken over by Ardagh, but the shop's name stayed the same. So you can find them physically in Joburg, in Cape Town, etc., but you can also find it online. So let's start here. These are the cutest little grinders. This is a 250ml Consol jar with a really powerful little grinder on top. I love these. I've got many of these in the cupboard with some pepper and some coriander, etc. inside. So these are the 1 liter jars. Now, depending on what I'm canning and how much my family eats of it is what size I would use. But these I would use for pressure canning. And see, I've even got some of these vintage Consol jars. So these I got with that initiative that I told you guys about, that I told the school I'll pay R1 a bottle. So I got some of the vintage. This is the 500ml jars. These are really nice for soups for me because my family don't like soup. So if I make soup, I'll make some soup in one of these or maybe a honey jar. So there's some of them. Then here we have the 250ml jar. Now, unfortunately, the 250ml jar with a screw-on lid is not suitable for pressure canning. So these can be used for jams or it can be used for other things, dehydrating purposes, etc. So what I'm using mine for is to store my seeds. I vacuum seal the top and then I store my seeds for next season in there. So I've got some of them. All right, so let's go this way again. Here is the 3 liter 1 lid jar. And these I like to use for fermenting, like in kombucha, water kefir, and then I also like to store dehydrated goods in these as well. This is the 1 liter catering jar. These are really nice for, I pressure can meat in them. And I kind of confused a few people on an American pressure canning group because they do not pressure can with these type of lids at all, but we do it a lot in South Africa. So these are what I use for typically meat. Now these are asparagus jars. These are the cutest jars ever, and 2 guesses what goes best inside of them. So I do like these a lot. And they are good for pickles. My daughter has started a pickling journey. She's 13 and she's just gone crazy with pickling. So these are really nice to have long carrot sticks or cucumber sticks. That's really nice. These ones are your 500ml jars. These are lovely too. I really like them. For instance, if I'm canning beans, we use a lot of beans. These are in honey jars. So I can these as well, but you get a bit more from that one. Do you see? So I use about 4 of these for a meal for my family. But if I use these, I'm obviously going to use less. And the plus about using these, if you know that you're going to use 2 of these rather than 4 of those, is the lids. Because if you pressure can, you never want to use a second-hand lid. You want to use a new lid. So that's why it's good to do your planning in terms of how much of what, in what size will you can. Now here is the 250ml jar. These are good for jams and jellies and preserves, etc. And then you've got the 200ml dip jar. I also like them for jams because I don't like to put too much jam in a jar. I want it to just last long enough so it stays really good in the fridge. So basically, guys, this is my jar heaven. This is not all of it. I do have other boxes full of jars. And yes, there's empty bottles standing in here, which I like. I love looking at them. They motivate me to can or to dehydrate or to ferment more. I am waiting for my new harvest, my winter harvest, then I can start using my jars again. We moved to a new farm, as you guys know, and I had to really work on the rocky garden and change it into soil. So it's finally happened, and now we are going to start producing. So these guys are going to start getting full, and then the racks here will also be fuller, and I'm actually going to run out of space. Oh, I didn't show you this. This is my lids. I've got this crate where I keep my screw on, and these, and I've actually got some bottles for vinegar. There's some lids for them, and at the bottom I've got different size black lids. So yeah, anyway, so I hope you enjoyed my tour of my bottle heaven, and we are going to be doing some dehydrating soon. I'm going to tell you about different foods to dehydrate in our next video. All right, you guys must have a great evening.